We are the last of the review exercises in our GUM for chapter 6 here, okay? All right, excuse me. Here we go. Although the actor was talented and striking, what the audience admired most was his dancing. It's the dancing that was admired, not him particularly. So, and you could tell that because, they were talking about his looks and whatnot, but it's the dancing that stood out. So we got to go with the possessive here, okay? That means this dancing here is the gerund because it's the thing, and then his is the possessive there, as opposed to dancing being a participle. The swim coach watched my diving and asked me to try out for the team. Diving is the thing being watched, and so we need the possessive again. The bus driver told Karen and me that the bus was full. They're the direct object. They're the ones being told, so it's me, objective. Who can describe the angles of the different geometric shapes? Who is the subject there? They're the ones who can describe. Does anyone sing better than they? This is a tough one. This is the elliptical. The speaker doesn't say it, but it's understood the word do. Does anyone sing better than they do? So that's why we go they there, because it's nominative. It's a subject. It's just a subject of a verb that's not actually stated. Okay? Elliot looked so much taller that I could hardly believe it was he. This is one where, yes, it's after the verb, but it's a predicate nominative because you've got a linking verb there. If we residents don't organize, residence is the subject, so the pronoun in front of it has to be nominative also. So we. As we raced towards the finish line, I could see that the race was between Mickey and me. Between is the preposition, so we know this is an object of a preposition. My grandmother, after whom I am named, I can bracket the subordinate clause. I am named after whom, so it's the object of a preposition, so we go with whom. Maria is going to ask whom you and Darren are voting for. We put the bracket around that. You and Darren are voting for whom. It's the object of the preposition for. Okay? All right, now we go down here. If I remember correctly, these are ones where sometimes there's more than one possible answer here. You're always looking for a certain type of pronoun, but there might be different ones you could put. I won't put ones like this on the quiz. Alexa and I knew about his lending her a warm jacket. The lending is the thing we knew about, not him. So we go with the possessive there. Competing in a marathon is an experience from which you and I must have learned much. The subordinate clause here is you and I must have learned much. Sorry, it's not the subordinate clause, it's the independent. Okay, so it's the subject there. My parents watched him and me playing a game of badminton. Here, the way we know that this is a participle, and so we need the objective there, as you can tell from me, right? The him has to agree with me. I couldn't put his there. I could put her, but I can't put his. So I need an objective, not a possessive. All right. I have already interviewed two of the women, her and Angela. Women is the is the object of the preposition there, so that's objective, and her is in a positive that refers back to women, so it's also got to be objective. Okay. No one knew who the man in the top tuxedo and top hat could be. The verb is be there, so who, even though it's the predicate, because it's the predicate nominative of the linking verb, has to be who. Ms. Escobar asked that Carly and I consider going on the senior trip. It's the subject, so you need something in the nominative case. The top prize will be awarded to whoever writes the best story. This here is the subordinate clause, and the verb is writes, and so it's whoever is the subject. The band director asked her and me to consider. Me has to agree with her, so it's got to be objective there because those are the direct object. No one has worked harder than he. This is an elliptical. It should be no one has worked harder than he has. That's the word that's not being said there, has. So we got to go with nominative because it's a subject. Was it Dr. Cross whom they chose as president of the Historical Society. They chose whom. So whom there is the DO, and so we need objective case. These, I know these are numbers 11 through 20 are a little bit frustrating, guys, because if you're following along with me here, because there are in many cases multiple examples of ones that are correct answers. What you've got to make sure though is that yours, let's say you went with her there. Well, fine, you can use her lending lending her a warm jacket, but you can't use me. You can't use him, right? You can't use, so you got to use something else in the possessive. It could be my, but it can't be I or me. Okay, so I know that these are confusing. That's why I don't put them this way on the quiz, but that's the way you do those. Okay, all right. Vela out.